It's 3:23 p.m. This is just to speak to what is the state, which is already established as a group stalker, as a sex offender, engaged in criminal monitoring. This is documentation specifically incriminating and documenting Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, Ontario Town Square. This is also speaking to what the state is engaged in. This is already established. The state was doing the exact same conduct as I was inside of the Ontario Health Center, located at 150 East Holt Boulevard. Understand on the traffic cameras, on the cameras at that venue, if they are present, they are all in relevant position, group stalking and monitoring while I'm using the bathroom. The security, all of those group stalkers wearing scrubs, they're all monitoring. They're all sexual perverts hiding behind that which is legally irrelevant. It speaks to how egregious and how malicious and sexually vicious they are acting with the government that's flying over that building, and helicopters and airplanes, and stalking with police sirens. This is what the state has been doing, and this is while it is monitoring all of my highly damning evidence that has dated back to 2018. So the state is, while I'm sitting at the library, stalking with its light. Ontario Ovitt Family Library, understand there's psychopaths on their cameras documenting themselves. They are already prosecuted. This is how the system works, and this is how federal prosecution works. The state has been engaged in this constant conduct. Why? Because it is a stalker, it's a sex offender, because it's a psychopath, and this is an entity that is being identified and prosecuted as such based on its documented conduct. And understand, Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library fully engaged in that monitoring conduct. That's why the state is engaged in that psychopath conduct of literally flying in circles over the library, going psychotic even more so, as it is literally monitoring everything that I'm uploading and organizing on my YouTube page. Check that out. Documentation is complete. I am engaging in adding the totality of everything that I have accumulated over the years, because the entirety of that story is visible. But even this is supplemental to the additional forms of documentation in journals and in my written form of documentation in emails, and that which I also engaged in specifically on Starbucks. Other forms of documentation. What is on YouTube is organized by date, by venue, organized by the stalking conduct, particularly by the state. And this is the state that's flying over Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, where I am. I understand at Ontario Health Center at 150 East Holt, the exact same conduct. And why? Because the monitoring system is occurring ceaselessly everywhere that I go. They are, this is what I'm saying, it does not matter what your title is. This is the prosecution of the people of the state of California. Those perverts in scrubs were monitoring in the bathrooms today. State flying over by helicopter. State stalking by sirens, which is also the communication of a threat by all of those perverts and stalkers and monitors together. Understand that, okay? That what you're hearing by helicopter, the state's been doing that, sitting around like the psychopaths they are in their police vehicles, sounding sirens, just constant sirens, which I'm completely disregarding, because I am aware of the fact that I'm subject to constant monitoring. Psychopaths on the sidewalk using their skateboards, stalking with activity, just like the psychopath you hear in the helicopter. Okay, it is the same behavioral pattern by the psychopaths inside of the library. Right, using the circumstances inside of that venue for purposes of stalking with activity. They are all monitoring together, mind you, under a fake sun. This is not the sun that is hovering over the shaded area at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. That is not the sun that is causing sparking light as these psychotic group stalking sex offenders drive past at the turn circle at C Street. The library is monitoring. These psychopaths sitting outside are monitoring. City of Ontario, monitoring. Sitting around literally, not only is it stalking and monitoring conduct, understand this is the personification of the stalker. In the same way that I've shown you what the state does with its treatment of light, it's the stalker, it's the psychopath personified. It's the same conduct with the stalking with activity, the audible activity. And this is demonic, understand. This is rooted in demonic conduct. That is completely of the demonic to punctuate someone's physical movement, someone's activity on an electronic, whatever it is that they're doing, when they're doing it, with any kind of noise, including even the use of your voice. The point is to make sure that you're always surrounded with something audible, with something visual, such as light, okay, anything. That's demonic. And this is what the entirety of that group does, regardless of where I'm at. The pattern of conduct in concert inside of the library, pattern of conduct while I'm sitting outside of the library, which is the same as while I'm walking down the street, while I'm sitting at the bus stop, while I'm at the museum, while I am in the parking lot of 150 East Holt, while I'm at 435 South Bonneview Mercy House. The same behavioral pattern. It's demonic, understand. That is also how you monitor, and necessarily so via communication devices. This is also the state stalking of light. Understand, every single last element is the personification of what is that stalker that is acting as a group, which is demonic. Every single element is rooted in that which is satanic. And this is a psychopath engaging in that satanic practice via helicopter. That's all it is. And it's also that which is, and that's relevant for punishment, okay? But the crime, it is, you can worship Satan all day long, you can serve him, you can serve Satan, it really doesn't matter in the United States of America, as far as with regard to the violation of another American citizen's rights, okay? So this is where you get into prosecution in a federal court of law, because it is in no way permissible for a government, let alone any individual, to engage in criminal monitoring via communication devices. And this is what the criminal conduct is. This is how you monitor. Okay? So it's context. You have to keep surrounded with noise and by presence and with light in order to monitor via communication devices. And you are doing massive monitoring with a fake light source. Okay? And this is that which is the state engaging in that conduct, directly speaking to what every psychopath maintaining group presence in my path is doing inside of the buildings, on their skateboards, walking by with their dogs, just meandering around on their phones. They're stalking. They're psychopaths. In no way hiding under any form whatsoever. Psychopath stalking via UPS, via FedEx, via Omnitrans, every single last one of them today, engaging in literally following me from the museum to B&G Plaza, back to the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, where FedEx again engages in crossing the path, stalking as I'm walking into the bathroom. All right, they're just using a commercial vehicle to do so, acting in concert with every other third party in the path, okay? And this is P.O.C. today, and this is P.O.C. that continues as I'm sitting at the family library, Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. Understand that this venue is deceiving the masses by its mere name. They are engaged in that which is sexual violence to the family, okay? They are engaged in that which is sexually perverted and predatorial in concert with a psychopath. They're the same psychopath, they're just not in a helicopter. They're inside of a library, which deceives you by the name of that venue, okay? It's criminal monitoring headquarters here because this is where I'm sitting. They literally have a fake sun sitting over their building. It doesn't matter what you call yourself doing while you are present, criminal element 3, group stalking, while you are creating any activity, criminal element number 2 and 1. Light activity. When you're moving under the state's fake sun, you're creating light activity, which is also visible activity, and audible activity, which they all engage in together, all right? Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library is a sex offender, it's a psychopath in a library, period. The state is flying over this library in a helicopter, like you just heard. It's 3:31 p.m. We're going to go ahead and let the tape run. Because this is the prosecution. It is not. Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library represents the people of the state of California, represents Omnitrans, represents UPS, represents Amazon Prime, represents Wells Fargo across the street, represents Ontario Town Square across the same street. This is the case against the people of the state of California, okay? Doing what third-party group stalkers do in relevant position while the state is stalking, directly incriminating the people of the state of California. So we're going to let the tape run because this is what the state has been doing for hours. But I'll go ahead and just let that tape run and understand any absence of plane activity and helicopter activity is because that psychopath is listening to itself being documented. It's literally been flying over and over, just like you heard when I started this podcast, just repeatedly, like the psychopath it's being documented as. That's a psychopath. Okay, and that's a psychopath that is engaged in repeated sexual violence, touching all over me. Okay, and all of them together. They get a kick out of it. They're going to be prosecuted for that. They need to go under the federal prison, and that's what federal law shall mandate. Have no business in law enforcement, have no business in whatever position that permits them to fly airplanes and helicopters around, and this is documentation of what are the group stalking sex offenders all around that are the people of the state of California who currently are working inside of Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, the venue where I am seated, and all of these hallmarks are present. Yeah, it's 3:33 p.m. That's P.O.C. And let me be clear, as far as the sex offense, that's Ontario Health Center this morning. The same exact conduct that you heard, helicopter, state stalker with his light source over. We've already documented, this is already published, all right? Where I was subject to that sexual violence, all of those perverts wearing scrubs, calling themselves nurses. I've already documented these psychopaths while I was kidnapped inside of West Valley in Glen Helen in Central Detention Center. They're wearing scrubs, they're hiding behind medical titles, they're perverts, they're criminals, they are demented and highly depraved group stalkers. In the same manner that that helicopter is engaging in that conduct, they're in it. They're in it all the way together and engaged in P.O.C. in the bathroom at the Ontario Health Center. Okay, same exact conduct, all right? And that will be the same for Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. State stalking, going psychotic over this building by a helicopter, doing the same, acting with third-party group stalkers like UPS and FedEx and Omnitrans and every other third-party group stalker that is being documented besides on my podcast, okay? Because that's what's been going on today. Again, it's February 4th, 2021. It's currently 3:35 p.m., but I'm going to go ahead and let the tape run. Because this is, the case is already settled. My documentation is complete. But it's as though the state is begging for more and more against it. There is no argument. It's literally an ongoing threat. We can analyze that. It's an ongoing threat by a psychopath. Okay, that is the government that is acting through the people of the state of California. This is a level of a threat never legislated before, and people are going to federal prison for that. Understand that. And this is that which the state is engaged in, just continuous for hours. I exited Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library on camera at around 11:15, 11:20. It's 3 something in the afternoon. The state's been doing this for hours, okay? For hours. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking because I'll let the psychopaths surrounding, sitting around listening to me breathe, okay? That's how psychotic they are. And understand, in the bathroom, I'm sorry, not in the bathroom. Well, yes, in the bathroom, but what I was going to say is inside of the library, this is where I'm sitting right now. This is the pattern, this is the system in operation. Those psychopaths are on their cameras. Do you understand right now, while they are outwardly appearing on their cameras as they are focused on whatever business occurs in the life, do you know they are listening to every word that I'm saying right now? That's what's going on, okay? And that's just one example. That's just where I'm at right now. Everyone in relevant positions, this is an ongoing corporate invasion of privacy, an ongoing sexual offense of an unprecedented level of violence. You're talking about it's group conduct. You're talking about they're all listening together. You're talking about they're all engaging in alternating, literally stalking with activity and light, okay? That's a whole other level which has never been addressed by federal legislation ever, okay? But it is in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 2261, subsection A1 and subsection A2. That's what it is in violation of. I'm going to go ahead and stop creating audible activity and let the sex offending group stalking psychopaths via aircraft and police, let them continue doing what they've been doing in concert with the library and everybody else that's in relevant position right now. Because that's what they've been doing. Sirens, helicopters, airplanes. Sirens, helicopters, airplanes. And you already know the rest of it. They can add in the train. You can add in some loud third-party vehicle. This is the psychopath that I'm documenting. And I've broken it down into P.O.C. And that's what it's been. It's in P.O.C. So I'm going to go ahead and let them go ahead and rule that. It's 3:37 p.m. We're going to let the tape roll. Those are the psychopaths acting in the background rather than the state taking the lead and flying in a circle over me in a helicopter, okay? Those psychopaths are honking their horn, random noise occurring all around me, and again, understand what I'm doing. I'm on YouTube, uploading and organizing my section on the face of my page, which says it's documented by date, and as I select the playlist, as I check a box, the psychopaths are stalking with activity, using their car horn. That's a behavioral pattern. Somebody appearing out of nowhere, that's the stalkers, that's the people of the state of California. They appear out of nowhere, stepping on a leaf, making some kind of noise, some sort of crunching, some sort of stalking with activity conduct. Everything that is occurring, even as they try to now mellow down that activity, these are psychopaths. They're engaged in an identical behavioral pattern. Every single last one of them. I am sitting here letting you know what's going on in real time. This is the same quality of documentation. I'm letting you know, even as they try to turn down the volume, if you will. Everything that they're doing is a matter of documentation. And this is P.O.C. Understand the state's stopping that conduct, as it is aware that I am documenting it flying around in a helicopter, is also the communication of a threat, speaking to that which is intended to engage in maliciously, speaking to an ongoing diligence and ongoing effort to engage in criminal obstruction of justice, right? This is not only a sexual predator, this is a psychopath stalker who is engaged in operating a monitoring system in concert with every single person that surrounds you, and they intentionally surround you, not only physically, but with any kind of noise, which is rooted straight in hell. That's demonic conduct that the group is engaged in together, while they are also surrounding you with light. This is what the state does with the fake sun. This is what the state does with impossible light activity all over the surfaces and all over my person. This is what third-party group stalkers do, psychopaths do, chiefly using their vehicles, stalking with light, molesting with light, keeping you surrounded with light, while they know exactly where you are, all right? And exactly why you're doing. This is how they're able to engage in that conduct, stalking with activity, stalking with light. That's how you do that, and that's what you are necessarily doing when you are monitoring by communication devices, all right? The fact that the state stops doing what it was doing as I started this podcast, which you clearly heard, showing that it's a psychopath and a sex offender, creating that audible activity under its fake sun. Fake sun remaining here all day long since I've been here in the morning, and it's still here now after 3:30, aiming light, mind you, under a shaded area. Okay, this is P.O.C. It's a sex offender. It's a psychopath. And it is also engaging in an ongoing constant threat. They're going to federal prison. This is what and this is that which is documenting why it shall be mandated under federal law. Every single thing that a government does, and this is why, but mind you, the government does not want any target individual making any claims. This is why they try to kidnap you, put you away, and shut you up as being crazy, because once that hits the fan, everyone, forgive my French, everyone is federally, we'll just say federally doomed. We'll put it that way. Because every single thing that a government does, and understand, the government is acting through the people. Every single thing that they do, everything that they are doing, every single thing is subject to that same legal analysis. This is literally the government that's surrounding you, and intentionally so. This is the design of the monitoring system. Every word that comes out of your mouth, every noise that you make, you're communicating a threat. You're intentionally doing so, and you're engaged in conduct designed to obstruct the ability to document you engage in that criminal activity. That's a whole other aspect of that same threat. And federal prison is necessary. Straitjackets for what is psychopath conduct. You're a psychopath based on that which is conduct which has been objectively gathered, accumulated against you. All right, that's P.O.C. And it's 3:45 p.m. You know why you don't hear the helicopter anymore? Because that psychopath knows that I turned on the tape. But I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of audio captures and video and pictures. I believe I'm in the thousands. I have just a numerous lot of documentation that the state is engaged in. This is already established as my point. This is a communication of a threat. Okay, while you want to engage in that criminal conduct and then you stop, this is the psychopath that knows, all right? This is speaking to the sexual violence that it's engaged in. Understand that. That's what that applies to. This is a sexual predator engaged in criminal obstruction. knows that it's being documented. This all goes to the threat, every single last one. While, mind you, its fake sun is beaming light directly onto my person underneath the shaded area and has been doing so for 5+ hours. But this is just today. I've already shown how the state is stalking with a fake sun over me, directly over me, everywhere I go, including in different cities at the same time. Let alone in the same city over an entirely different venue, which is also equally impossible. All right, it is 3:45 p.m. State sounding sirens faintly in the background. That's a psychopath. Still creating audible activity, still communicating a threat. All of it is intentional. And understand, Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, this is representing the people of the state of California. They are the same group, communicating that threat together, monitoring me to that conduct, monitoring me under the state's fake sun. All right, and that's what the state is doing. It's 3:46 p.m. This is all going against the people of the state of California who are egregious sex offenders, hiding in medical scrubs, and there is no hiding. There is no hiding whatsoever. That's the stalker, sounding its sirens again, has been doing this all night and all day. That's audible activity that Ontario Family Community Library is monitoring me to under the state's fake sun. P.O.C. 347. Let me tell you what that also is. That's a psychopath that has not an argument or a prayer in federal court. Has nothing else to do, can't think of anything else but to just sound its siren. They are going to federal prison. They're going to federal prison. Understand, every license plate that I've already documented, this criminal conduct applies to them. They are one group. That is the pitfall when you are engaging in a criminal monitoring system in concert and on behalf of a government. Every single last one of them subject to that same prosecution. They are acting together. The license plates that I'm going to document today, okay, and those that I've already documented. All right? Threatening, molesting, stalking with this state that's flying over right now by plane, and that third-party group stalker using its vehicle that the state is amplifying activities. 3:48 p.m. This is exactly how federal law shall operate and choke the life out of federal group stalking and monitoring. Understand, this pregnant silence is evidence of a psychopath, okay? That's what that is evidence of. It is evidence of a psychopath. Sitting, engaging in P.O.C, concentrating on every word that I'm saying, and hushing up itself as I begin speak. I mean, I have already documented it, so you're talking about a psychopath that's engaging in that which it knows is wrong, that which it knows is criminal, that which it knows is being cataloged, and the moment that I play the tape, helicopter stops, okay? And when I say it was constantly, that's exactly, the moment I turn on this podcast, what do you hear? It dies down. You don't hear that? That's a psychopath. That's a psychopath, all right? Understand that that is the conduct that the people of the state of California are engaged in as well. This is the code of conduct. They are engaged in that which is entirely malicious. All right? It's totally different. You're talking about the state that's stalking via aircraft. That is malicious conduct, first of all. It's something that is so fantastical. I'm making up a word because it's something, and it's like a fake sun. That is something that is so, like, incredible, it's unbelievable, and understandably so. It was so unbelievable, I had to begin to document it so that you can see it, okay? It is that incredible. Understand that's a deliberate tactic, all right? This which is rooted in that which is of Satan, that which is of the demonic, is characterized by highly malicious conduct. Smiling in your face, wearing a nurse's scrub, appearing outwardly to be that one you trust, to be that one of a compassionate, that one that would be otherwise a very quote-unquote sympathetic criminal, okay? This is that which is designed to deceive from the outset. It is an entirely despicable, highly vicious, and malicious system. This is based on evidence documentation, not just my familiarity with the character of this entity that I'm documenting, because I am familiar with it, but I also know it's not what you know, it's what you can prove, and that's a matter of documentation, okay? It just takes one with the legal skill set, if you will, and the also the intestinal fortitude, but also the wherewithal to systematically document and present it in a manner that is palatable for the ordinary person to understand what the government is engaged in. It's actually not rocket science. It's just that which the ordinary person does not want to accept, but that doesn't matter. You're talking about American citizens who are being targeted. I am not aware of anyone else, but I know that I have the proof of what's occurring to me, and I know California is not, I'm not the only person that the state is engaged in this system with, and so this is how the system works. And understand the silence, the absence of that helicopter activity after what I've already established is the state's pattern of conduct. I've already shown you that the state is a stalker and does so in helicopter. This is routine, so this is not questionable, and my credibility is already established, and the pattern of conduct is already established, okay? The state engaging in this conduct via helicopter for a prolonged period. The moment I turn on my podcast, what do you hear? Crickets. In other words, you hear silence. That is evidence of a psychopath, a criminal that knows it's being documented. It is the absence of any sort of suggestion that the helicopter was just circling over and that it's gone, or there is no plausible argument for that whatsoever. I am documenting what is psychopath conduct. Understand, the people of the state of California that are all surrounding me right now, and they're surrounding in buildings, they're surrounding in their cars. They are all listening together in real time. This is how you have a group stalker that sounds as though they're in the distance honking a horn, engaging in the behavioral pattern of stalking. That's crazy, okay? That's a level of crazy, and they're all engaged in that together. This is a psychopath, stalking via helicopter, is remaining present, intentionally stops that conduct as I roll the tape, okay? That is a communication of a threat. This is understanding that which I'm documenting. And this colors every single thing. The targeted individual presenting its prima facie case against the state of California, this Erica Lorraine Spencer is hereby establishing and has established that the government is indeed engaged in group stalking. It is a psychopath, it's a liar, it's a criminal, it's a thief, it's a sex offender, it's a kidnapper. All right? It's a psychopath that, in other words, will stoop to any level. Any level. There is nothing beneath it. All right? This includes the people of whatever state that targeted individual is in. And this is that which is speaking to the absence of any presumption of legitimacy by that entity. It is upon presenting what is the prima facie case, all right, and you can pick any playlist. The target individual can just pick one, and that would be enough to suffice. And that targeting entity has no legitimacy whatsoever. It is not working from a standpoint whereby it is presumed to be legitimate as a government. That is not the case whatsoever. Where you are facing allegations of what is federal group stalking and monitoring, it is presented with the irrebuttable presumption that public corruption is rampant, and that is that which is serving to aid the targeted individual, an American citizen, one who is inherently lesser in size, if you will, than the government that is monitoring, okay? And this is established by documentation. My case in its entirety is speaking to and coloring the conduct of the entity. Absolutely no legitimacy whatsoever, okay? You're talking about that which is to be a legal presumption upon a prima facie case being established based on objective evidence. You have to document it, okay? But this is the removal of the fallacy that group stalking is fake. It is not, and criminal defamation is a criminal act of obstruction of justice. Every word uttered to that end is serving the state's pattern of conduct. It's criminal obstruction of justice via defamation of the target individual, presenting a direct threat, whoever is uttering it, however they are uttering it. That's P.O.C. And that's what group stalkers are doing online. They'll be prosecuted for that. Literally documented themselves on the internet. That's in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 2261 subsection A1 and A2, as well as well, specifically A2, because it's on the internet. But understand that that is also criminal defamation. That's P.O.C. That's literally these psychopaths getting on the internet, engaging in defamation. That's pattern of conduct. That's P.O.C. Straight up and down. Understand that you are looking at and recognizing, and this is what SIIS, federal legislation, systematic infliction of inhumane suffering, because that's what the pattern of conduct is. That's what the state of California is engaged in. The criminal elements of monitoring is a systematic infliction of inhumane suffering. Every single act that they are engaged in, and they're doing it corporately. All right, that is why it is called that law, and that is also why this law is necessary, because you're talking about a public entity that is a psychopath, that knows it's being documented, that has demonstrated its willingness to stoop to any level, engaging in all of those crimes that I just listed. All right, and guess who's doing it? Those psychopaths in police uniforms, those psychopaths in fire trucks and ambulance uniforms, in those hospitals, in those jails, hiding behind their titles. And they're sex offenders, they're group stalkers, they're criminal facilitators of a state system of criminal monitoring. There is no presumption of legitimacy whatsoever. Upon presentation of that prima facie case, that a government, that a public entity is stalking and or monitoring and acting through the people of that state, whatever state that might be, the irrebuttable presumption of public corruption is thereby created. The government has no stance whatsoever, and capitalizing off the fact that it is it is the government. Okay, it is in no way impervious whatsoever under federal law for purposes of being prosecuted. This is establishing not only the necessity of prosecution, but also the how you prosecute it. All right, that's what this is evidence of, and this is ongoing documentation against the people of the state of California. The public entity itself is already prosecuted. This is the prosecution of what is contract stalking. It is acting through that vicarious actor, which is fully engaged in the identical behavioral pattern, acting in concert with that public entity, engaged in that same psychopath stalking with activity, psychopath stalking by light, engaging in what is corporate sexual violence altogether. All right, this is sickness in the state of California. This is in no way removing criminal responsibility. You're seeing how they are abiding by a very strict code of criminal conduct, because they are diligently engaged in making sure that they are monitoring and keeping the target individual, myself, monitored, that is surrounded physically, audibly, and visibly. And understand that light activity is a part of that visible surrounding. All right, that's group conduct. That's demonic. That stalking with noise is demonic. That stalking with light is demonic. Stalking as an entity, stalking as a group is demonic. That's what they're practicing. And it does not matter. What I'm telling you is you're stripping it down, because Ontario Open Family Community Library is capitalizing off of that very title of the venue. And understand that they're sex offenders. They're monitoring, they're stalkers, they are psychopaths, literally surrounding inside of the library. As I get up, walk to the trash can, somebody's crossed. They're doing the exact same behavioral pattern everywhere that you go. That's what my documentation establishes. At all times, that's what my documentation establishes. It does not matter what your uniform is, what your title is, what company you're working for, what vehicle, what name is on that vehicle, whether it's a private one or whether it's a company vehicle. What it is speaking to is how expansive the system is. All right? It is unhindered. All right, and the absence of that helicopter activity is speaking to the threat. It is speaking to the psychopath. It's speaking to that diligent act of criminal obstruction of justice, and it's directly incriminating the people of the state of California who engage in the like malicious conduct. There is nothing that they are, it's out in the open. They're not hiding behind anything anymore. I have literally burnt it up into flames, and intentionally so, because they shall be dragged in federal court thoroughly dragged in federal court. This system shall never go on without being identified. I know it won't be able to go on being concealed. It's certainly not able to go on without being confronted. This is the tool set for any American citizen, because the government itself has no interest in helping you when you are subject to what is a government that is monitoring you. All right, and that is basic logic. Okay. But it is 4:02 p.m. and this shall be what is well, this is an aspect, because I'm gonna go identify some more group stalkers, which are sex offenders, which are psychopaths in need of straight jackets, waging the same threat with the entity that is stalking via aircraft and police, fire and ambulance. The fact of that the pure numerosity is a communication of a threat, understand? And using the people of the state of California is intentional conduct to intimidate, to harass, all right, to place under surveillance. That's why you have the people of the state monitoring with you, because you are fully engaged in surveillance. By the way, what I am applying is federal law, 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1, 2261A, subsection 2. That's what the state is engaged in. That's what the people of the state of California are engaged in. It's 4:03 p.m. It is 6:11 p.m. I'm on camera exiting the SCHIRO'S liquor. Group stalkers sitting in their car. It's a Lexus with no front plate. They're acting with traffic that were at a red light behind me at HOLT as I exit the store. 8 BOI 917. And also the employee, the owner, whoever he is not only is he hostile while he's monitoring me, and understand that's threatening conduct while you're monitoring on behalf of the state. He also is monitoring using the register. He'll engage on pounding on the register as I make any move, especially when they try to lock down on the third party 90931J2, when he tried to limit the third parties, because I am documenting them, all of them, on his cameras. He's being documented as well. He uses the register, he pounds on it to stalk with activity. He does the same thing. 8 SAD 415, 8 FYR 338. He does that when no one is making a purchase. He does that after I've completed my purchase, and it is not that which is occurring immediately after. He'll wait. If I make a move, he uses the register to create noise. That is P.O.C. That's engaging in the behavioral pattern. What's the method? Using a register to create noise with simultaneity. This third-party group stalker with a black hoodie and gray bottoms and Converse, he's on camera at SCHIRO'S Liquor. He opens his door with simultaneity to my walking past. That creates light activity on his vehicle. All right, P.O.C. He's acting with a third-party group stalker, a female with a ponytail who's exiting from one of these venues inside of the plaza. She's got a communication device in hand. They're monitoring together. All of them acting with traffic and these burgers, these venues that are open inside of the venue, these stalkers that are sitting in the dark in their cars. I already read that Tesla license plate that's driving off right now. 7TQB803 substances. I already read that license plate, and they've been sitting in their car in relevant position. All right, just like at the same location where the red Honda Accord was sitting. They're stalking. Come on down. 6:13 p.m. Chevy SUV pauses in the middle of the parking lot. Understand, all they're doing is monitoring, and they're waiting for me to make a move. I did not make a move. I just let them sit there because you're looking at what is monitoring. They're stalking. 7VZX592. That's driven by a female right now, and her presence is based on my presence. The Tesla leaves. I keep walking. You have another one that comes in with their vehicle, and she's maintaining presence in the path. And I've purposefully paused, and you see this vehicle, and it's on camera. They pause. Understand? It is directly linked. It's P.O.C. It is currently 6:14 p.m. That's a serious amount of psychopath conduct. It's a helicopter flying over B&G Plaza. Like I said, that psychopath in that Chevy SUV, directly linked to what I am doing. 029DG, monitoring with that helicopter. 7MOD 633, monitoring with that helicopter, which is the state. This is the government that's in the drive-through all around you. Present, mind you, even going to the length of going ahead and buying a meal while they're present. 7XZE939, because that's what they're focused on. It's monitoring. 203YV, handicap plate. That's exactly what they're focused on. Everybody inside of Andy's on camera, they're monitoring. A helicopter just flew over their restaurant, okay? They're monitoring. P.O.C. And I'm referencing their security cameras, because that's all they're doing is monitoring. 82PZ734, 7PPX219, 8TUY255, BJ401L51. Third-party group stalker at the register of Andy's through the drive-thru. 5SWS178, a stalker using their horn across the street and the ice skating rink, stalking with activity. Understand, the moment that I walk past that group stalker's headlights is when they blow their horn. That's monitoring. 7BGZ762, 7RIF594, all of them monitoring with the helicopter that just flew over the drive-thru. 00262B2. Just like I showed in my playlist, as the state is flying over all night long by helicopter and by airplanes, those third-party group stalkers that are in traffic are monitoring with the state that is stalking via plane and helicopter. Okay? Because that's what's going on. License 8 PMR 323, because I didn't read that one. I just want to make sure I get all these that are monitoring with the state that just flew over them in helicopter, directly incriminating them. 7F83345, 7PHS956. Everybody inside of this plaza, including Andy's Burgers, they're all monitoring. 203YV, yeah, I read that last plate. It's currently 6:16 p.m. And like I was stating earlier, another aspect, another aim, another goal, which justice requires, is the deportation of anyone who is not an American citizen, who is granted citizenship or naturalization, and you're a group stalking, sex offending psychopath in the state of California, in the United States, you are getting deported. Period. You're getting deported. 8RCL252. 7BXJ901, 7TBU142, 7UWX053, 7TQJ680, 5WVC738, 6675, 7V2, 6CPY696, 6CAM107, 6NDD975, 8LJF668, I believe, 8AOU97, substantially, 897, substantially similar. It is currently, let me get this plate, 7FNY326. It is currently 6:17 p.m. And that is ongoing P.O.C. at B&G Plaza. P.O.C. continues as I walk across the street. I'm just going naming every single last one. So as I walk down the street, guess who's molesting my person? 4TYK816. All of them monitoring together. 8KNY198. Can't really see, it's substantially similar. But they're all touching with light. 8KVM472. Sex offenders. all right? And this is inherent to their pattern of conduct. This is how they monitor. Routinely touching. 8 RUS 344 0308 3D3. B290NO 8 THF 327 8 ULB 619 8 KHS 863. Ontario Police 7HYS 07, substantially similar. Ontario Police License 1591428. That's P.O.C. This is license plate monitoring with the police 6THF 473. All right. Ontario Police will be seen on the traffic cameras at Holt and Plum, 6:19 p.m. And I'm also going to be seen because I'm making sure I'm seeing all their license plates. And as I do that, Ontario Police arrives again. Those are group stalkers in police uniforms, just like they're group stalkers in planes and helicopters and fire ambulance vehicles. Engaging in what is not only group stalking, but that is a communication of a threat. That's the intent to intimidate, the intent to harass, the intent to place under surveillance with that criminal intent as well. The state, Ontario Police are engaged in nothing but criminal conduct while they're wearing police uniforms. They're engaged in criminal facilitation of that conduct as well. They're kidnappers, they're sex offenders, they are thieves, they're liars, all right? They are stalkers, psychopaths. 7 FBL 902, and that's a pattern. That's a documented pattern, okay? Heavily documented. They are arriving intentionally in the absence of coincidence, just like every other third-party group stalker, i.e. 43953F1. Right? And Ontario Police engaging in touching with all the rest of these sickos that are monitoring. Ontario Police facilitating that conduct. 7CGZ 920, 7VP T070. Ontario Police arriving at the museum last night, like I documented, all right? I also documented on the same day. This is a whole, I've already documented this thoroughly, but let me just point out the obvious. Video after video after video after video after video after video of helicopters stalking, and Ontario Police engaged in that same stalking, and they arrive here right now engaged in stalking again. Understand what that is, okay? It's P.O.C. 7VPT 070, using the traffic light as a means of stalking, creating light activity. That's all that is. It's all monitoring. 6NSY579. And this is all of them threatening together. They're threatening the wrong one. I'm going to prosecute you for every threat that you attempt to make. 7SAY684. Every single last one of them. Every single last one of them. Because that's a threat. And that's inherently threatening, contrary to what that criminal, that sex offending, group stalking, liar in a robe named Thomas Garza, who has not escaped anything. I'm going to fiercely prosecute him on the public scene. This is 7HJY109, NVL 1053, Texas plate, 6BAV155. It is inherently threatening for the government, let alone the police, fire and ambulance, and then every single person in relevant position, because they're monitoring via communication devices. This is that which is intentionally and maliciously designed to engage in violation of federal law. Understand? 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsections 1 and subsections 2. They're using the internet, they're using communication devices. They are using the instrumentalities of interstate commerce. You hear them driving on the street, on the freeways, okay? You hear them flying planes. All right, I'm telling you about how they're using it on the bus and on the train. This is the same exact pattern of conduct. All manner of interstate commerce for federal group stalking and monitoring. All right, while they're all using communication devices to do so. And this by a government. Every single last one in the shoes of the government, 7ZUD067. That's the government stalking and using light for purposes of monitoring me so that everyone else crossing paths can monitor as well. 7973 7W2. Omnitrans license 1545685. And I'm on that camera as well. It is 6:23 p.m. Federal law under the relevant section that I've cited, 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, both subsections 1 and subsections 2 speak to what is federal prosecution and federal imprisonment under the relevant circumstances, and I am calling for a beyond that, because this is that which surpasses actually that section. 7 U.J.C. 187, I believe. 68305S1, substantially similar. I am calling for that which exceeds what the current legislation calls for. This is a government acting through 5 NRT with a different plate on the back. That's a psychopath sex offender knows it's being documented. Escaping nothing, by the way. 6 DVY 756, 7 BAS 358, 6 PAF, can't really see the rest of that one. 888, I couldn't see that, sorry. My train of thought, what I was speaking to is, I am calling for, because of the circumstances of a government engaging in what is under the federal section 8Y86874, substantially similar, can't really see that. This is a government that's engaging in this monitoring conduct via communication devices and doing so on a massive scale to the people of that state. This is why I am calling for that which exceeds what that section calls for federal imprisonment. 7F B3345. This is ceaseless, constant, continuous stalking conduct in the face of knowledge of being documented. All right, that's a very, very potent threat that the government is engaged in. And it's going to stop. It's going to be prosecuted, and people are going to prison for a very long time, and they will have nothing to do with law enforcement, with the medical profession, et cetera, et cetera. But I am letting you know about the attitude, which you see through the documentation. Oh, they have no intention of stopping whatsoever. These are psychopaths, and they've already lost. I'm gathering names because I'm gonna prosecute as many of them as possible. I'm literally, yeah. This is 5BCF 102. 7ESJ 030. Because they're already there, and by the way, everybody in Andy's Burgers, this goes without saying, they're all monitoring, okay? Every single last one of them. And all I have to do is let you know it's 6:25 p.m. They're all in relevant position, and all the hallmarks are present. The state stalking by police, fire, the state stalking by aircraft, plane, and helicopter, while they are all on cameras working and eating. They're all monitoring inside of B&G Plaza, okay? That's P.O.C. And that's my other form of documentation. It is currently 6:26 p.m. 04279B3. Acting with group stalker that's coming down the street. Ontario Police 1591428 patrolling back down the opposite way. Vehicle number 1039. And I'm referencing the traffic cameras. P.O.C. That's a group stalker. P.O.C. As I begin walking up the street, he's engaging in the behavioral pattern, okay? Doing it, saving some third parties being published. He's not saving anybody. They're one group acting together. That's the state directly and vicariously. Every third party that I am specifically identifying, that I am isolating by identification, they represent the same group. They're one group acting in unison, sharing this psychopath behavioral pattern because they're all monitoring together. Speaking to what is an ongoing system and providing ongoing repeated confirmation of that. This is license plate coming from Metro 102 A55J PZZ, or P22, excuse me. A55J P22, coming from Metro 102 Apartments, the parking garage underneath the ground. So that's the license plate identification, and possibly, but not necessarily, group stalkers do not necessarily live where they're located or even own what they're driving. They are literally engaged in ongoing POC and doing so in a manner that they ordinarily don't have to, because the target individual is not usually engaged in documenting and prosecuting them. So that does not mean that they live at Metro 102, but they are exiting out of that parking garage of 102, and that's their license plate. This is Group Stalker 7FHL 385. This is 7AVW 736. This is 8LGV 983. Just lining up. Just lining them all up. Group Stalker sitting in the middle of Plum on the opposite side. In relevant position still. Drives into the parking garage area. It is 6:29 p.m. That's the state stalking with activity, playing the tape of the sound of a train at a super loud volume. 66067M2, 82441Z2, that's a paper plate. 6JJF292, light activity sitting in the parking lot while the state is stalking with the sound of a train. That's P.O.C for monitoring. 6MOP484. 8SXY076, 8DYF581, 8TGJ412, 5WWM494, 7VZG665, 793XB, that's a handicap plate, 7YLU514, 6SQV962. These are the vehicles parked in the parking lot of 280 North Lemon Apartments. Understand that they're in relevant position, they're monitoring. This is why the state maintains presence via aircraft. This is why the state maintains presence with its light. This is why the state maintains presence with ongoing audible activity, like you hear in the background. 047ZH. 22147S1, 104OC. Handicap plate, 8LYM214. And have been monitoring all day long. Because as I sit over here by the library, that's where the state's fake sun stayed all day long. That's where the state concentrated light underneath a construction, contrary to the very reason and how shaded areas such as of that building, that hallway that's shaded and designed to be is designed. That's the pattern of conduct. That's the stalker personified. Let's get this license. 6UYV740. And the state, as you heard on my podcast, the state was engaging in constant flight via helicopter. Just having a field day, just flying all around, just having a field day. All right, and then when I turn on my podcast, shuts the F up. Excuse my French, but that's exactly what he did. They shut up. But it really does not matter, because what I'm saying is I have hundreds of hours of documentation. This is the state that the state is stalking, that the state is monitoring, because that's the significance of stalking with all of that noise. And that's the significance of what are absolute strangers engaging in that same stalking conduct. That's the significance of it. It's monitoring, and it's a systematic monitoring. That is what 280 North Lemon has been engaged in, City of Ontario, using their vehicles, stalking presence, going in. So you're talking about using your position as a means of exploiting it for purposes of criminal monitoring. The city can go into any building, so they go into the senior center where they're in relevant position and they're engaged in stalking with activity. While they're doing whatever they're doing it as loud as possible, and they're doing it with simultaneity to what I am doing on my communication device, to what I'm doing as I'm physically moving. That's what City of Ontario engages in. All right, they are stalkers engaging in the behavioral pattern under the circumstances that apply to whatever it is that they're doing. Okay, they're doing it while they're present. Federal prosecution. Period. Period. It is literally that simple to catch that federal charge. And that is a serious federal charge, subjecting you to what is an unprecedented level of sexual violence. That's being a sex offender at a federal level. Okay, This is that which is subjecting to deportation. Oh, that is necessarily to occur. That's as a matter of justice. You are promptly seeing your way out of this country. And this is also that which is a matter of not only federal imprisonment, and this is based on the fact pattern. The state engaged in kidnapping, the state having every intent to engage in continuous defamation, and a mental ward, having never had any jurisdiction over my person, never having any legal case over me whatsoever. I didn't somehow turn into a criminal. Never, ever had any probable cause to ever touch me, ever. Okay? While I'm engaged in documentation, this is the criminal entity seeking to try to avoid my documentation, and thought arrogantly that they were just going to shut me up and lock me down, and that was going to be the end of the story. All right, that serves a relevant purpose. It's educational, it's informative, because it shows you how the public entity operates. This is, like I said, a very low down, grimy, treacherous, despicable, highly depraved and demented psychopath, stalking, sex offender, okay? Engaging in what is monitoring and stooping to any level, including kidnapping by the police, kidnapping by a court, kidnapping by the jails, while you are being monitored in each and every single last one of those circumstances. Police monitoring you while they're kidnapping you, the courts monitoring you while you're kidnapped, subject to what are malicious and or fictitious prosecutions. All right, while you are kidnapped inside of the jail, monitoring you. All right. All right, while you're kidnapped inside of the jail, defaming you, placing you not just in jail, but in a mental ward. Okay? That's the entity that shall be faced with. That is an irrebuttable presumption of public corruption, where the ordinary target individual will be empowered to bring their own civil case against the government, where they have objective documentation establishing a prima facie case of what is federal group stalking and monitoring by a public entity. All right, and this is that which will legally create an irrebuttable presumption of public corruption. The government gets no presumption of legitimacy whatsoever. It capitalizes off of that. That is the facilitation of that criminal system. All right, this is a whole changing of that false premise. Okay, the government is not an angel. Big Brother is engaged in high criminal conduct and reaching to any means to try to conceal that. And it's a new day. All right, you can prosecute it. They are impervious to it, and no matter whatsoever, you can literally snatch them out of those uniforms and out of those positions and put them where they belong, which is going to be in federal prison. It is currently 6:36 p.m. And like I stated earlier, while the state is engaged in what is the pattern of conduct of stalking with light, it's also necessarily molesting my person with light, okay? The state is engaged in monitoring on a ceaseless basis, including when I'm in a private space, which is the bathroom, while my body is physically exposed, while you're using the bathroom, while your genitalia is exposed, and they are engaged in monitoring you, corporate invasion of privacy, all of them listening at the same time to what you are doing, maintaining real-time knowledge of what you're doing in that space, okay? That is not your ordinary level of invasion of privacy. That's a whole other level. This is under facts of federal group stalking and monitoring, which is a criminal monitoring system operated by a government. This is a whole other level of invasion of privacy, never addressed by federal legislation. Like I stated earlier, Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, Ontario Health Center engaged in that conduct. While I'm using the bathroom there, the state that you heard flying over me yet again in helicopter, stalking and monitoring, that's exactly what was occurring while I'm at Ontario. I was at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, monitoring me while I'm in the bathroom. That P.O.C. doesn't stop. That conduct was occurring as I'm at the Ontario Health Center, and they're outside in the parking lot just monitoring away, all right? The state engaging in ongoing stalking with the sirens, not stopping their sirens, repeatedly sounding their sirens, just having a field day like the helicopter was, having a field day, literally having a field day with their sirens. This is all not only monitoring, like I stated, this is the despicable entity that is, in reality, it's terrified of the level of documentation that I have, okay? And this is a real-time reaction to that, so they just go haywire. But understand it's P.O.C. They're monitoring, and they are intentionally doing so. It is the stalker personified in a way that is acting out of fear, mind you. It is acting out of fear, but it is communicating a threat as it is acting out of that fear. That's a communication of a threat, okay? Engaging in that as ongoing sounding of siren, about speaking to ongoing presence, speaking to ongoing monitoring, speaking to an ongoing threat to your life while you're documenting them. And they know you're documenting. That's hostility to that. That's an ongoing threat. The state doing the same thing via helicopter. That's an ongoing threat to your life, and doing so repeatedly, as I captured some of which on camera. And some of that was on camera. And that was just some of it, okay? That's communication of a threat. All right, and this is that which is shared by the people of the state of California who are in the shoes of the government. The state is acting through them. They are called vicarious actors. That's referred to as contract stalking, gang stalking, group stalking. They're doing that because they're monitoring. That's why they're engaging in a identical behavioral pattern. That's communication of a threat. All right, it's 6:38 p.m. and my point is that in the same way, like I stated earlier, everyone that is documented is a part of that same group. Just like you got Jack and Jane that are engaging in robbing banks together, they are each liable for the crimes that they're engaging in together, and for those that maybe they didn't even plan on doing, but that which is reasonably foreseeable to occur when you engage in that sort of criminal conduct. All right, this is that which the people of the state of California are full throttle engaged in. They're monitoring on behalf of the state in concert with the state. They're engaged in sexual violence. So all of them are engaged in that molestation. The state is aiming that light on me and they're monitoring with that state. They're intentionally engaging in that criminal conduct. They're all engaged in that sexual violence. They're intentionally present. They're not ignorant of the fact that the light is touching all over me. They're crossing path at the moment that light is touching all over me because they're monitoring. You don't have this incredible occurrence happening as a coincidence over and over and over again. No, that's called P.O.C. That's the clinical term for that. They are sex offenders. You do not touch when you are an incredibly threatening stalker. Oh, no. You will be federally prosecuted for that, okay? And this is how they are engaging in monitoring, and it is a sexual violation of the person, let alone what they're doing while you're in the bathroom. And this is, I'm a transient. I'm homeless right now. While I was in my home, unaware of the fact that I'm being monitored by the government, and the government is in my home through third parties who I'm related to that I did not know were monitoring me, posing an incredible threat to my very life, all right? An entirely malicious actor. All right, posing a very potent threat. All right, that is a potent weapon of the government. The third parties whom are in your life and they're monitoring you, that's a potent threat. Okay, and the government was in my home monitoring me. So while I'm in my bedroom, while I'm undressed, even walking around my apartment, I mean, this is real life. You're at home, you're thinking you're in your own castle. You can walk into your kitchen without any clothes on. You should be able to at least, but you're being monitored. Okay. And so there is no activity creation that's occurring coincidentally or for no reason. Like I said, everything that you hear, everything that is occurring around you is intentionally happening at the moment that it's happening, okay? Because they are monitoring you. And this is literally the entire focus of an environment on an American citizen. Do you understand? No, you do not understand. I am going to place into writing, ratify into federal law in order for people to understand the level of threat that is waged by such conduct. All right, and this is that which is engaged in by a government. Who fathoms this? Who comes up with that? I don't know, but I know who's going to federal prison for it. Okay, and so this is the ongoing communication of a threat, ceaseless engagement in those elements. And this is what I'm saying, where you've got a government engaging in that. Everything that they are doing is a communication of a threat and reasonably construed as such. When you are analyzing any under the law, if you're familiar with it, when you're analyzing, you're not analyzing a threat, you're analyzing criminal conduct. You're talking about not just what they do, you're talking about what they say, what's the pretext, context to what they're saying, what are they doing while they're saying it, what have they already done in the past, who is it that is saying it. Okay, you're analyzing all of this, all right? And so this is, and that's just speech. I'm giving just an example of speech. You're talking about conduct, you're talking about engagement in the criminal elements. So the state, for example, while I'm sitting here using the lights around me, turning them on and off, that's a communication of a threat while they're engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. Do you understand that? This is an incredibly threatening entity that is stalking and engaging and using the environment all around you to engage in that ongoing conduct, facilitating it by the people who are surrounding you, literally stalking, okay, ready to jump out at the drop of a dime if you make a sudden move. Stalking, straight up stalking, okay, and engaging in the communication of a threat by doing so, all right? That is the legal analysis that applies there. It is in violation of existing law, like I said, 18 U.S.C. section 2261, subsection A1 and subsection A2. And also that which I advocate, which I have designed, which I have written in order to address what are criminal acts of obstruction of justice, what are the ongoing criminal tactics of a public entity. This is not known. This is not addressed anywhere. I did the legal research. It doesn't exist. There is no way for the targeted individual until now to enforce their rights because it was intentionally maintained as a fallacy. This is not a fallacy at all. My documentation is very real. You can look at it for yourself. You can see it, touch it, feel it, hear it. All right. And this is that which is providing the targeted, this is empowering an American citizen to enforce their rights against a government that is monitoring you. All right. And that's the significance of the stalking conduct, the demented stalking group conduct. It is 6:44 p.m. And that is P.O.C. All right, these group stalkers in the parking lot, group stalking with the state. From this far distance where I'm sitting on the bench, the state touching me with light while they're in relevant position. As I start walking, they turn on their hazard lights. These psychopaths know that I'm coming, and that's creation of more light activity. This is license plate 5WWM494, acting with group stalker. See, and again, this is 280 North Lemon. It doesn't matter how old you are, what senior citizen apartment complex you're in. 7MPL725, acting with them. Just group stalking in the parking lot. State's flying over, and third parties patrolling in also as she turns on her hazards, as I start walking toward her, and then they start driving in through the parking lot. The state, it was touching me with light. I'm sitting on the bench. She's way over here in the parking lot, in front of what is the garage of 280 North Lemon, and light touching all the way over there. Okay, that's called impossible light activity, and that's called group stalking. And then this psychopath gets out of her car, and they're acting like they're doing something. They are doing something, but guess what? They're doing it while they're present, while impossible light activity is occurring, while the state is stalking with sirens, because I'm Bluetoothing my podcast from one phone to the other, and that's why the state is touching with light. The state is also turning the lights on and off right here over the bench. Okay, that's P.O.C. It is 6:54 p.m. and that's what I mean while I sit on the bench over here. These third parties stalk in that parking lot, and the state is engaged in light activity, acting in concert because no headlights are reaching that far. And they also aim their headlights in my position, in my location, in my direction, excuse me. That's the pattern of conduct. That's P.O.C. for monitoring. And they all engage in that. And that incredible conduct of that incredible occurrence of light, super duper far-reaching light from the parking lot. Like the same thing they do from the intersection of Euclid and HOLT all the way onto the wall of the museum. They're psychopaths, they're stalkers, and that's the documentation of another one. And so I just went on ahead and went over there and got that license plate because she does so. She's present and she is not ignorant. That's my point. Those incredible circumstances of state stalking with light, using literally the lights here over the building, lights turning on and off like they're motion detectors, even when I'm not moving. But when a third-party group stalker is in relevant position, they're used. When I'm walking through the parking lot, they're turned on and off as well. This is P.O.C. for light activity, period. It's light activity, while also light activity is occurring while they are lurking around in the parking lot. It's 6:55 p.m. Yep, it's gonna be just fine. It's 7:49 p.m. P.O.C. Third-party group stalking with light as I walk from the bench, as I'm remaining at the turn circle in conversation with another third party. They are in relevant position. This is a license plate with a paper plate BH05B42 with the VIN number 3N1AB8B9LY308920. It says it expires 2/7/21. This is on a black smoke gray, I don't know what this is, a Nissan Sentra. Looks like a new one. I understand they're creating light activity as third parties are patrolling at the turn circle, and while I'm in conversation with a third party who's creating audible activity using speakerphone in the car. This is ongoing P.O.C. I'm just getting this one that was present before I began what is conversation in front of the Ontario Open Family Library with a third party. This is another third party on the opposite side of the same turn circle, sitting in the parking lot with their headlights on, and for WON 432 in relevant position, sitting in the parking lot with engaged in the same exact POC. That happens to be the third party that I was conversing with. And engaged in monitoring. I'm just speaking to third parties acting together. Yeah, this is license plate. Yep. 8 MBF 595, I believe. What? Okay, you can sit there and watch it if that's going to be your claim for why she's loitering in relevant position, creating light activity. This is a group stalker over here. You hear the train? That's audible activity. They're monitoring to that while they're stalking in relevant position with their headlights on. All right, so I'm going to get this license plate. This is a white Mustang, Ford Mustang. Cameras are around here, but I'm going to go ahead and get this license plate. It's P.O.C. 8RZY131. That's audible activity by Tracy Banks, 4WON 432. She is monitoring. She's acting in concert with them. They are creating light activity while they are literally standing on both sides in their cars, stalking, creating light activity. The other one leaves its hazard lights on and abandons the car. Understand it's parked on the street. It is parked. They're merely leaving it there with the hazards on with no person inside. That group stalker whose license plate I just read, now exiting the parking lot. Engaging in what is relevant positioning. That is maintaining presence around me, using their headlights as a form of light. The state is stalking via aircraft at all times. The state is sounding the train, that's what you hear in the background, while they are stalking with their presence all around me with light activity, including license 4WON 432. All right, that's P.O.C. It is 7:52 p.m. 8 QDB, 460, I believe, and 8 SBY. Oh no, scratch that one. I've already documented that third party at 280 North London Apartments. This is stalking right now as I'm approaching Holt Boulevard, 498832C. That's in a white pickup Jeep that's driving from Lemon onto Holt, in between the traffic cameras between Euclid Avenue and Plum. Understand they're monitoring with this group stalker that is on Lemon with hazard lights on and aiming light in this direction. Hazard lights are now off and now bright headlights are on facing my direction. Those license plates, they're crossing path while they're aiming light onto me. That's P.O.C. And traffic is going to be seen right now at Holt Boulevard, and they are driving east on Holt. P.O.C. Oh, thank you. I'm going to get this license plate. This is the P.O.C. Stalking with light. Aiming light in my direction. While other third parties cross path. This is a surrounding with light. This is the group conduct. And this is MOTORINN at 11111. It says 11111 South Lemon. That's the address. The third party that was using its van, acting in concert with third parties. Understand that's criminal facilitation. This is the ongoing threat posed by the people of the state of California engaging in this behavioral pattern. That's license plate 15734S1. Going to that venue that I just identified, MOTORINN. It's P.O.C. Hi, are you police or are you probation?
Probation.
Oh, who are you here for on probation at this time?
Why, are you on probation?
Not at all, but I'm curious. Who
no, just working.
Just working?
Yeah.
At 150 East Holt?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
Oh, why, you go there, the clinic?
No, I don't go to the clinic, but I know that probation was working there for some odd reason. Yeah, you guys represent law enforcement, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What's your name, sir?
You have a good night.
Yeah, okay, bye. Probation engaging in P.O.C. They were engaged in P.O.C. inside of 150 East Holt also. Allied Universal and the probation department. They're monitoring at 150 East Holt. This is P.O.C. I am at the Museum of History and Arts. I'm currently standing at the intersection of Lemon and Transit. So I was just holding a conversation with a group stalker wearing her probation uniform. Understand that the light created by the MOTORINN going to that location as they're using their hazards and then their headlights, and acting with group stalkers like these that cross paths. 7YXE, 8GYB 848, and then 7YXF 388. Group stalking with the Ontario Health Centre, with group stalkers that are at the museum, group stalkers that are driving in traffic on the opposite side of Transit right now. That is on the opposite side, meaning on the south side of Euclid at Transit, aiming their headlights in the same position, turning south onto Euclid. Understand that's P.O.C. They are monitoring. It's 8:34 p.m. It is, let me see. I'm in between 150 East HOLT and the museum where they're maintaining presence as well. Let's see. 6ATG 203. And 8S VB 007, or is that 00? Yeah, 007. This is license plate 7CIL 872, 7LWL 878. Ontario Police in relevant position at the traffic light while understand ongoing light activity. Crossing path as they're driving south on Euclid Avenue. This is P.O.C. Ontario Police in position at that intersection of HOLT. This is group stalking and monitoring. License plate 5PP G693. And I'm referencing the traffic cameras. The train is in motion, that's audible activity. P.O.C. while they're crossing path with light. Ontario Police at the intersection, state always stalking via aircraft. That is 6 ATM 506. P.O.C. state is flying by helicopter right now over the intersection. License plate 6WAK 076. Those are group stalkers that know that I'm present, using their horns as a means of audible activity. Ontario Police in relevant position at the traffic light at HOLT, which is called intentional presence, that they're driving east on HOLT Boulevard right now on traffic camera, 8:36 p.m. Understand 150 East HOLT, they're all monitoring, including the probation department, which represents law enforcement. All right, that's P.O.C. Let's see. 7FHL 385. Stalking using their vehicles. 8J49290. 7SGW 255. These are driving north on Euclid. 7NCL 513. 4ZPL 993. Seven SOH 140. I can't really see that one. This is 7FXZ870, BJ6D095, I believe that's a paper plate. It's turn signal on right now, turning east onto Holt Boulevard from Euclid. It's 8:38 p.m. And the light is red, so there is a Jeep and a red pickup truck in the far left lane. They're both to go, I'm sorry, not the far left lane, in the lanes to go to proceed north on Euclid Avenue, and traffic is now proceeding east on Holt Boulevard. This is monitoring. They're all monitoring. This is documentation of what is federal group stalking and monitoring, replete with the state providing audible activity, letting you know what they're all doing in relevant position. All right, and this is what they do all night long. They're monitoring. Engaging in criminal conduct while they're driving their car. 7LXL 170. This is, can't really see that plate that well. (8SP) J173 7DRN 613. (7 RXX). Can't really see the rest of them. They are turning east onto Holt Boulevard. 8NRY 282. Omnitrans across the street in relevant position, group stalking as well. 6XX T467. 6MRC 608. It is 8:40 p.m. The state is sounding its sirens while a third-party group stalker in the parking lot of 150 East Holt. Headlights are means of light activity. That's a combination of light and audible activity. Monitoring with the state. African-American male driving 7CIL 872. It's currently 8:40 p.m. and that vehicle is going to be seen at the traffic light at Holt going northbound, which is red right now. So he's in the turning lane to turn east onto Holt. Monitoring with Omnitrans, monitoring with every other third party that's patrolling up and down Euclid Avenue and Holt Boulevard. This is a license 7 CPF 302. They're so bold when I'm at a distance or when the phone is off, and then they're all evasive. 6LUT 716, driving far away, and they're still in relevant position. They're still crossing path. They're still creating light activity. They're engaged in P.O.C. regardless. But this is the personification of that stalker. 8 FEP 567. 7 DFN 463. 7 ZPV 122. Audible activity and light activity. 8 FAF 643. Understand that's audible activity while they're monitoring. They are all aware of my presence. They are all aware that they're being documented. Period. That is P.O.C. (7HCC 339). 7 VEV 190. 2476 4Z1. 8 HXA 553. 7 ROV 288. This is 7XX D021, substantially similar. 4648 4N1, substantially similar. Can't really see. It's got a thing at 8DTM 876. That is Omnitrans. Understand that is the stance that Omnitrans takes when it's stalking and monitoring, using the bus itself as a means of stalking with audible activity, stalking in relevant position, stalking and molesting with light during the day with impossible light activity and under a fake sun, and amplification of its audible activity that it intentionally creates. All right, this is license plate 264UD. That's a handicap plate, turning from Transit onto Euclid Avenue, which will be seen. Third-party group stalker coming from the back street, the dead-end back street of what is Emporia, driving also crossing path here at Transit, going to be seen on the traffic cameras going onto Euclid Avenue. This is license plate 6BYZ379. It is 8:43 p.m. Understand the foot traffic that are on the traffic cameras, meaning the pedestrians that are group stalking on foot. They're acting with the vehicles, they're acting with the state via aircraft, they're acting with the state via police, fire, and ambulance. This is group stalking, and they're doing so on foot, maintaining presence all together. All, mind you, aware that they're being documented right now. These are psychopaths. This is federal group stalking and monitoring. This is a short pot-belly Latino with long hair, a gray hat on backwards, gray bottoms. He's on foot, he's monitoring. This is license 7, no, I can't see that one. Let's see. Okay, 6XAC 320. This is 8AAH 445. 8GOE 005. 7EHN 291. And a helicopter is flying right over me as I'm at the intersection, 7 PPC 285. That's audible activity while the helicopter is flying over. All of traffic is light activity. P.O.C. 8RID 252, excuse me. BH 7RNL 945, two different license plates on that car. 7RYW 755. 7JEB 775. This one with the Spanish soundtrack. Helicopter flying over, 5VSH 586. P.O.C. Understand that's audible activity while they're all creating light activity. 8UKB 875 7FPL 002, 8KRL 722. 8EFN 869, 7VXC 306, 8893382. Understand while they are in traffic, while I'm inside of the Ontario Health Center, and it's the same for any venue, but let me break down what they're doing. In traffic, they're all in relevant position. These psychopaths, this is why they're sex offenders, and they're engaging in monitoring as they're driving by, maintaining real-time knowledge, using their cars, stalking with activity. They're all at the same time aware of what I'm doing when I'm doing it, including when I'm in the Ontario Health Center using the bathroom, and they're sitting at the traffic light, they're driving past, and they're all listening. They're all monitoring together, monitoring while I am in that private space using the bathroom. All right, maintaining presence as a group in their vehicles in traffic. 7HOE161. Likes to cross path, documented this one more than once. This is, let's see. Oh, no front plate on this one. Let's see. 8JKK483. Let me make sure I got that one. 8JKK483, that's correct. 5BNC691. I want to say that is 7SEW619. Substantially similar. It's a box car. License 7SEW618. Yeah, that looks like that's what it's like. It's currently 8:48 p.m. UVY558. Amazon. Oh no, that's not Amazon Prime. Looks like the shape of that van. 7GOA 7GQA 919-2514-OH2 8FRN 524 8RSZ 982 8MQF 340 7BTA 558. AU95S03. I can't really see that one, and that's a paper plate on an old Honda Accord. Okay, no reason for it not to have a license plate. When you're documenting the people of the state of California, that's criminal obstruction of justice. That is license 7YOU691 6XJS660 7WGE190. It's 8:50 p.m. 8TPA115 5JUF258. Uh, 8BQM851. Zero 5-366C1 8LOJ 901 5TWP 988 4979C3, I believe. And this is the traffic that's driving, that was driving southbound on Euclid Avenue. These are driving west on HOLT, FedEx, license 8TAP200, 6SJC208, 8CYE273. Uh, 8ARE521. XP90455. I can't really see that one. I can't really see that. That's a truck, a short truck with a green head. 8SML770, 8LLZ407, 8KYZ258. Substantially similar. This is traffic in the turning lane. 7KFW448, headed northbound toward Holt Boulevard from Euclid Avenue. This is a license AZ93A08, a paper plate on the Tesla. That's a Tesla SUV. They're turning onto Holt Boulevard to go west, 8:52 p.m. Impossible light activity, 7FJU701, 7FMD216, 8RDJ176, AW89U175, I believe. That's a paper plate. 6XDS269. DFH 4145 on the back of an old sedan, 8HHE 587, I believe. I can't really see that one that clearly. Group stocks are hilariously pathetic. This is 8GBL 393, 8V67262, 5PIX 123. Alrighty. 6ZML 431, 5TJJ 859, I believe. That's a Honda Civic driving east on Holt Boulevard. I read that one. Let's get 7ADT 169, 6YLT 367, 8PXB 149, AMR. It's going to be seen on the traffic cameras heading, on the northbound side. License plate 5EF, I can't really see that one that clearly. 7B92382, I believe, substantially similar. That's AMR, group stalking with the rest of the third parties. AMR represents the state, the psychopath using its sirens in concert with the state via fire and police. Eight KCB 637, 8 SCT 681, 5 CIH 111, 7 MQL 434, 6 ZRE 171, 8 UCM 296, 8 MDG 620, 7 XDD 766, 7 GIA 434. It is currently 8:55 p.m. Going eastbound on Holt, 6 ZSL 728, 7 KAL 488. This is 6 JVS 017. Driving west onto Holt Boulevard from Euclid Avenue. 8SLW 747, 8CTZ 921, 7 ICK 171, substantially similar, 8 NID 384, 8 UFA 011, and 8 MMY 253. 6 ZAG 310, 8 HHY 944. (332) HT 7V76 059, 7 UWD 577, 6 WYH 780, 8 JNH 736, 8 AJJ 895. It's currently 8:57 p.m. Okay. All right, license 7APV 944, 7SKY 418. LZN21. APDJ 429, 7GMW 470, 6WLR 875, 8LDH 473, 4SXF 669, I believe, or substantially similar, 8PUT 368. This is California U.S. dot 2050273, large white truck with Legend Transportations on the back, driving south on Euclid Avenue from Holt Boulevard, 5RZP919. This is 8CLM186, 8EZZ099, can't really see that one, 88222PT, you can scratch that, I can't really see that one, 8LVB009, it's currently 8:59 p.m. Understand elementally, as far as the criminal conduct, this is relevant positioning, meaning this is presence. This is light activity, criminal element number 1. This is visible and audible activity. This is license plate 6 WEU 71588. Oh, I can't really see that one. 6 FRI 190, I believe. This is 7PAH 829. It is currently 9 p.m. License 57035T2, 48449T2, 8TGJ287, 8TDY251, 7LDY822. This is license, let's see, 8NAX059, can't really see that one. 8CGW, you can scratch that, I can't see that one either. They're driving east onto, east on Holt Boulevard, and in the turning lane, turning north onto Euclid Avenue. It's currently 9:01 p.m. and I am in the middle of the intersection. I'm in the crosswalk area and standing and documenting all of them that are engaged in monitoring. And this is that which is occurring while I'm not standing at the intersection in relevant position at the museum, while the state is stalking, as I've documented, both directly and vicariously through these very people. 7XRD023, I believe. 6, oh, I can't see that one. It is 9:01 p.m. Here we go. We got another one. This is license plate. Six FUH528, and I'm referencing the traffic camera. All right, I am walking back toward the museum, and that's the state on call, sounding a plane. All of them monitoring, okay? 8 AUP 657, right? While the state is flying over the intersection, referencing the traffic cameras, that's P.O.C. It's 9:02 p.m.